Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, where not only we introduce you to your future favorite artists today, we give flowers to those who put in for the culture and the foundation of adding on to the greatness that our people have made from making something out of nothing. And today we have somebody on who's not only proven himself in many realms of the hip hop culture, but he's a hip hop evangelist who tells us about the gift and the curse of hip hop. Introduce yourself to the people.
Yes, Chuck Platinum representing NYC, BX Stand Up, man, Overcame Billionaires, BACG, man, producer, hip hop connoisseur, man, lover of hip hop.
Well, salute to you. It's a pleasure to get to meet you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Pleasure's definitely mine.
Oh, thank you. Let's talk about hip hop today. Because I don't think people talk about hip hop. People just talk about hip hop music. And that's only one aspect of the culture. That's not the bones of the culture, though. You agree?
Yes, absolutely.
You are the son of a DJ who not only is a businessman, but one who knew what being a DJ was or being a DJ is. Tell me, what is it like to get passed on the legacy of the DJ and not just walk into hip hop as an artist?
Shoot, being around Pops, man, that right there, I was born into this. You know what I'm saying? Being around my father and learning from him, seeing DJing growing up. That's who I learned from. That was my foundation. You know what I mean? DJing. That was the first thing that I learned about the culture with DJing, watching him DJ. And just him bringing me around. So that was like having my pops there and having my father be a part of everything that I was doing. That was like cheat code for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Having my dad around. So, it was a beautiful thing.
What year were you born?
1978.
So you are a part of the generations that got to see the beginning of the turn of hip hop into 90s era hip hop. So you were blessed to see DJing, DJs, and MCs coming to their own business wise and culture wise. How much of advantage is that to you, do you think, in today's hip hop, that you were able to see so much and experience so much in your growth?
I think that was the integral part, because me growing up in that time, I wasn't too like in the 80s, like, 80s hip hop I was into, like not the earlier stages, like the Grandmaster. That was like, things like that. I was inspired, where it's at right now. So, that's the generation where we was able to get the old school, but we're not too lost in the new school as well. You know what I mean? Like right there in the middle.
Okay. I see you're driving and it's cutting up your feed because I'm not getting all your words. All right.
Oh, yeah. You're not. Is it going in and out? Did you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, it's choppy.
Okay. Let me see if I can pull over to the side so we can do it the right way. I definitely got the time. All right, cool. All right, how we sounding now?
Good.
All right, bet. Yeah, so what I was saying is, growing up in, that time, I got to see like the old school. I got to see, hip hop developing into what it was gonna be. And then as I got older, like in the teenage years, was the 90s. So in that era, I got to see hip hop going to where we was making bread, the shiny suit era, different things like that. So the just being a part of the development and then seeing it now where, it's developed into a whole cash cow, social media and everything is able to, produce some new artists and give artists more independence. So yeah, I get to see all of that, and be a part of all of that in different generations. So it's fire.
I mean, that's what it takes to be what you are and who you are in the game, because you have experienced the game, like I said, from the bones now to the flesh. It says in the Bible that when a man finds a good woman, his bones gets fat. When hip hop found culture, when the hip hop music found the hip hop culture, its bones got fat. Because now people could put the music in commercials and video games and things like that. But
Right.
you were groomed from the essence of hip hop, which is the DJ.
That's right.
And being a DJ yourself, I want to ask you, how does being a DJ make you proficient in the culture, even to go into being an artist? How does it make you better than somebody who just does it?
Because I hear music different. Because I'm hearing music as a person who's delivering the sound to the people. You know what I mean? So it's like I might, as a DJ, I might be a little bit more open with my ear than somebody who's, just listening to the music, who's just, maybe a consumer of the music. I get to break artists, I get to, put people on the new things. So that being a DJ, is an intricate part because I get to deliver music to people that, with my trusted ear, they probably never even heard what I play. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's definitely like the probably the most important job that I do out of everything that I do.
Is DJing. Okay.
Yeah.
As a DJ though, is it because you hear music differently? Is it the natural progression of things you think for a DJ to become a music producer or work as an A&R or something?
Absolutely.
Why
Absolutely.
such?
Because when as a DJ, you, like I said, you hear the music different. So with a being a producer, you're actually, either making the music yourself or, you're involved in, finding producers and producing records yourself, or you may be involved in the studio process, or like you said, being an A&R, you're discovering the talent, and then working with that talent once you discover them. So as a DJ, we just have that ear, we know the look, we know the vibe, you know what I'm saying? We in the club, we know what's going on. We right there, we in tune, you know what I mean? So yeah, most definitely.
I think it's very interesting when it comes to DJs, because I'll focus on the DJ part of you more, because the DJ part is going to lead into everything else. Because if you
Right.
don't understand the importance of the DJ in hip hop culture, you don't know anything about hip hop, period.
That's right.
And I want to ask you a very controversial DJ question.
Okay.
Is Pete Rock the king of all industry DJs?
Pete Rock, I wouldn't say he's the king. I would say he's a definite important figure. But there's a few people that came before Pete Rock that even Pete Rock would probably say, you know what I mean? Like Grandmaster Flash, and well, Marley, he was a pretty good DJ. He wasn't, the greatest DJ, but he was still, good at what he did. But yeah, I wouldn't say he was the king, but he's definitely one of the super kings of production.
When I say king, it didn't mean the best DJ. Because Pete Rock to me is not the best DJ of all time, in my opinion. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But he's the first DJ to come out as a prolific artist while producing, remixing, and rhyming himself.
That's a fact.
Yeah, because Flash and Marley talked on records, but he didn't rhyme.
He didn't rap. He was
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Like with Pete Rock, he was the one, like he came out as a creator, he was rapping. He was rapping on Mecca and the Soul Brother, things like that, and producing, DJing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I would say in that aspect, if we're talking about that aspect, yeah, definitely. Because there's not a lot of DJs that do what we do.
And that's where hip hop takes its turn, because people give Nas the title of changing the game. I read an article. It says Illmatic was the beginning of the downfall of hip hop. It was a great article. And in that article, it said because the super producer became the new wave and people tried to follow that wave, the sound of the DJ and the art and the rapper died. And this article was written about the same time Ninth Wonder became prolific, and he was producing whole albums for artists where it was his signature sound giving artists an opportunity to build off of the sound. What does the DJ producer bring to the game that the super producer doesn't get or misses on?
That's a good question because a lot of DJ producers are your super. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think about like DJ Premier, when you think about Large Professor, these are all DJs that are just blaze, incredible DJ. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of your super producers were once DJs. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's how I look at it. It's not really like they don't get it because they do get it. Like some of your best DJs are super. You know what I mean? Like I said, like a Primo. There's very few producers that I know that's not DJs. You know what I'm saying? Like Lord Finesse, he's an incredible DJ. Showbiz, he's an incredible DJ. So yeah, most of the super producers that I know you know, they were or are DJs.
Okay, so let's take it there then. Tell me about Uptown Nation and how that was the bridge from spinning on turntables to being in front of a crowd. And tell me about the experience.
Yeah, Uptown Nation. That was like, so me rapping and DJing and even producing, all of that happened in like a 3-year span. So when I had started professionally DJing first, and then being with my brother, starting Uptown Nation, we started rapping. So that transition was it was dope because it was like me trying something new because I really wasn't on the rapping tip like that. My brother was the rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to be a part of what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So when I transitioned into that, it was just natural because me, I'm the type of person that when I'm passionate about something, I'm going all the way in. So when I started rapping, you know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, I'm gonna write these bars. I'm writing songs for myself. You. I was writing verses for everybody. It was just a hunger. So it was just a natural. It was a natural transition. So Uptown Nation is just like that's me and my brothers. You know, still a group after 29 years. You know what I mean? And that was like one of the best times of my life because I that's when I started. I was a teenager, so that's when you know I was getting my look and I was finding myself. You know what I'm saying? As a rap, being a rapper helped me find myself. You know what I'm saying? As a rap artist.
That's interesting that you said as a teenager because in the teenage years is where you find your look, your swag, and your identity. When a hip hop artist that rhymes finds their identity, they find their voice. As a DJ, what do you find?
You still find your voice too, but you find your voice through the music. Like when you become real nice with it, you learn how to speak with your hands. You learn how to speak with your mind because the DJ is not really the person. Like going back to what you said about like the transition of the DJ. DJ is not really in the forefront. So you know now that there was one part of hip hop when the DJ was cool, but it wasn't when the worldwide aspect. So the DJ had to figure out other ways to make themselves popular, via making records, you know, producing for other artists and being a part of their video, you know, maybe like you said, being artists themselves. So, you know, DJs had to figure out a way through other ways versus an artist being in the forefront, you know, because the artist was in the background. as being, the DJ's hype man. And then what happened was when the artist became popular and the DJ became in the background to damn near non-existent. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the DJ is a little bit more work for the DJ. Like you really have to be good, and especially in this town, because it's calm now, because it's a million DJs, you got to really stand out. You have to really, do something like maybe like a DJ Khaled and get yourself known like that.
All right, so were you in the comic books when you were younger, superheroes and all that?
A little bit. I wasn't too big on the comics, but I knew like the major.
You remember the X-Men, right?
Of course.
To me, the DJ was Professor X. Because the DJ was able to form the sound. And while the MCs went out to go do the show, the DJ was the one that still had control of the overall presence of the concert or the performance. And just like we saw in the verses with Method Man and Redman, shout out to both of the legends, I think the hero of that, while everybody focuses on the rappers, was DJ Scratch.
DJ Scratch, fact.
DJ Scratch brought back the mix, the scratch, old school and new school music, and brought the feel to get you hyped for a performance.
Right.
As an MC, though, to get hyped for a performance is different. How do you prepare for a performance differently as a DJ as opposed to being an MC?
For me, it's pretty much the same energy, just mentally prepared. I pray before everything, everything that I do, and I pray over everything that I do, and then I just, turn the music up. That's even like when I'm producing a record, you know what I mean? I'll turn something else on that inspired me, and then I'll get right to work, you know what I'm saying? So it might be that same element, like playing some music like a DJ, some records like a 4-3-2-1 or something like that that'll get me right. Or, as a rapper, playing some ill, maybe some Big Daddy Kane or something, or some Rakim that'll get me hyped to, whatever mood I'm in, to write, So yeah, those are two different inspirations, but pretty much the same thing, listening to some dope ass music to get me right.
All right. Now I got a real weird question for you, because you just talked about producing for people, and I know you did a song for Neo. Right? Shout out to Neo. Wherever you at right now. I like you in Red Tails. That's you did your thing as an actor. Salute. You know what I'm saying? Back to you though. When you make a beat, you hear something that you translate into sound.
Right.
And when an artist hears music, they translate inspiration into words.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get your language to match their language to make music?
So as a producer, I always think as an artist first. You know what I'm saying? When I'm going into the lab, I'm always that, and that's been the secret to my success. It's just every time going in a producer, like, would I rap over this record? You know what I'm saying? How is this record to my standards of something that I would produce for myself? So the key is always to give the artist something that, they could be like, just like me, you know what I'm saying? As an artist, like I would rap over. That's something that I would rock over. And most of the time, that's where the love language, so to speak, begins with the artist and the producer, thinking like the artist and catering to that artist for the whole goal of that record.
And that has led you to work with D.I.T.C Studios, Showbiz, and AG, one of the first and most underappreciated rap superhero teams ever. Digging in the Crates. Do your homework if you don't know who they are. How was that experience when you went there and been grafted into the sound of Digging in the Crates crew?
Oh man, well, me being in the Bronx, I live, like literally a mile away from where Digging in the Crates pretty much started. So we knew about D.I.T.C early. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, when Party Groove and what's the other, Soul Clap and all of that came out. So they was like my superheroes early. So they was somebody that I had always wanted to work with. And then, you know, by the grace of God, meeting AG, that changed my life years ago. You know what I'm saying? And having him believe in me, like, really validated what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Because that he was like really like the first legend that took me under his wing. Big shout out to A, which he's very, very still much involved in my career to this day. You know, so being around them gave me the reality that, yo, I could really do this. You know what I'm saying? And then you go in a studio and you see 40 million records sold on their wall, and it's like, wow, I'm a part of this, and they want me to be a part of it. So it's just I'm sometimes I still be thinking I'm dreaming, to be honest with you. When I'm sitting there talking to the show and having conversations with him, or you know, Finesse come through, yo, what up, Chuck? Yo, Finesse knows me. I still be tripping. You gotta be cool, but I still be tripping sometimes.
Yeah, man, those are the dreams of everyone who does hip hop. Everybody watching, this is Karev of Heritage Hip Hop. See that back there? That's who we are, and we're on with Chuck Platinum right now, DJ, MC, entrepreneur, and foundation groundbreaking artist that you need to know about. So you just said something very interesting, because I think, like I said, I always thought D.I.T.C was very underrated because people don't understand who they are or what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's so many crews, but if for a crew not to get the respect, it's crazy. Because like Lord Finesse was like one of the top MCs in the game at one time. Look what Fat Joe became. OC dropped 2 prolific albums that people don't want to give him credit for, which is crazy. Showbiz and AG changed the dynamic of the producer MC. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, hey, Diamond D, how many classics he got? Yeah, I mean, and then that's like rest in peace, Big L. Big L is like one of the best MCs that never got his chance. That everybody talks about how great Nas and Jay-Z is. We got cheated because we didn't see the full potential of Big L, but what he gave us, he was smacking people in the head early, you know. And to have that under your belt as a producer and an artist, to work with names of some of the most respected, and they're from all over New York. So I got a question for you. I don't think anybody can define New York City. New York City is like a schizophrenic animal to me. You can't put a personality to it. I'll call New York City the Game of Thrones. Every borough is its own kingdom. It has its own language. It has its own personality. How would you define the Bronx and Bronx hip hop in today's generation of hip hop?
Shit, damn near non-existent.
Why you say that? Why you say that?
Because I feel like in today's hip hop, I feel like some know like the history and the culture and the Mecca, but I think that like we like the Atlantis. You know what I'm saying? Like you really got to be educated on the fact that, you know, nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't have somebody to pull you to the side, like, hey man, if it wasn't for the Bronx, you know, things like that. So I think like in this climate, there's not really a lot of artists that come from the Bronx that's in the current climate that represents who we are. You know what I'm saying? And what we do as a culture and what we brought to the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Is it because the culture changed or that the Bronx stayed isolated?
Both.
Really?
It was both. It was a culture change, you know, definitely the shift of the culture. And it really since like Pun and Joe and Remy, it really hasn't been, and Corey Guns, of course, but you know, it really hasn't been an artist from the Bronx that really, really catapulted us, except French Montana, which he's not originally from the Bronx, but he's Bronx enough to be saying he's a Bronx artist. You know what I'm saying?
What about wait? What about David Bars?
David Bars, definitely, but see, David Bars on the come up though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I could definitely, but that's like if we talking that level, then yes, I could see the progression on that level. Like a David Barr, there's a few like rest in peace, Fred the Godson, you know what I'm saying? Artists like that. So yeah, if we talking in that aspect, yeah. But see, again, those are artists that, you know, like Fred, I don't feel like he got his full life. Like Big L, I think the world was cheated with Fred because we knew who Fred was. We knew who Fred was going to be, and he was getting there, but he wasn't there at that pinnacle where we knew him. He was the God in the Bronx, and to a lot of people, but he, you know, he didn't get to that prolific status like he should have been. So that's what I was saying about like the Bronx. People don't know. It's a lot of gems that we got in the Bronx that people just they don't really know about. But yeah, shout out to you for mentioning David Barr. David Barr is dope.
Yeah, he is. And that goes into the next progression of your career because you have a radio show and,
Yeah.
and you're in charge of your own line. So you have the power to keep the legend of the DJ alive by breaking records and giving these artists love where other people seem to just, pardon my language, ride dicks and take checks.
Yeah.
He just said, yeah.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Vultures. Yeah.
See, that's one thing about heritage hip hop. Like, I may never become Revolt TV or things like that, and I'm okay with that. I mean, whatever the Most High gives me, I earned, and He sees it fit for me to have. But one thing I'm about is telling the truth, and the truth is, I think hip hop is still good. I just think rap destroyed how we understand it.
Right.
And there's people like you who do music, protect music, and then forward the music that keep the culture alive. I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, Prodigy and so many other people said real hip hop's going to go underground and the machine's going to destroy it. And we've been seeing that happen. But you've been fighting against the machine on different aspects. Tell me about the Hip Hop Evangelist album and what you wanted to do with that to make your voice prolific when it comes to the culture itself.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that album because a lot of people in our interviews they don't mention it because that was like out of all the projects that I did, that was the most important project out of all of them. And the reason why was because I set out to do just that. You know what I'm saying? It was my love letter to hip hop because I felt like in the climate that we've been, that sound wasn't really getting, getting the notoriety. Now we have Griselda, Griselda getting known and things like that. But I really wanted to design an album that was dedicated to the culture. You know what I'm saying? And talk about it like real hip hop and using SWV for that song and. It was nostalgic on purpose, and I wanted to give that feel from top to bottom. So it's like straight up like different boom bap beats. It's not really like you don't really hear no current, but it is current. So it was my dedication to hip hop. It was me, saying that. That's what the Hip Hop Evangelist title is. As we know, an evangelist is somebody that goes and spread the word of God freely, and openly into the world. Sometimes we think that evangelists are crazy, but they actually are not. They're actually very prolific in the word of God. So that's me being an evangelist, going against the grain, going against the machine, going against what people think the culture is and preserving it, and becoming somebody that is a preserver of the culture. So that's what Hip Hop Evangelist is about.
Hip Hop Evangelist is one of the more important albums that I've heard in a while because you said something very key and I want you to recognize. You said evangelist is somebody who's proficient and travels. Yes and no. Because there's a lot of evangelists that's full of shit. And we have to check the resume of an evangelist to know who they are.
That's a fact.
And when we check your resume, you have history in this. So you have a right to call yourself an evangelist and say that you are. Because I don't want nobody to try to bite your style like I'm the hip hop pastor or something.
Right.
Out there saying whatever.
That's definitely not where we going.
Tell me about Off the Hooks. Tell me about Off the Hooks from that project. And that was a standout song to me.
Oh, Off the Hooks, man. That was a fun record. I actually had did that beat, and I had that beat in the stash.
Okay.
And I thought the beat was dope, and I wanted to. Every project I try to invite somebody new on my project. I don't really like working with too many people, on a repeated basis. So that was an opportunity to introduce the world, my fans, to Coney Brooks, who's another dope young Bronx hip hop artist, and yeah, it was just bar work. I just wanted to do something that because he's definitely a spitter. So I wanted to do something where, it's showcasing the youth and showing that, the young people are still into this because, that brother's not, he's not even 30 yet. You know what I'm saying? So he might be 30 now. But anyway, he's a young brother that, it was like a generational gap. So yeah, that song that's actually one of my favorite songs on the album because it's fun, but it's, we spitting, we doing what we do, and just trying to give y'all a visual through music through that song.
The interesting thing about that album is the song selection. Because with
Mm,
songs like Fulfillment, King of Rap, True, Real Hip Hop, Born Again, Supernatural, even relationship woes, The Joy, you're bringing spiritual context of being evangelist, but you're keeping it really tight to the culture. Why do you think hip hop today does not have soul and people don't do that?
because going back to what you said about the people who are the powers that be, the powers that be sometimes for that check. I'm not. I think the difference with me is I'm not bound to. I never wanted to be bound to anybody. I had chose as a teenager not to, go major, and I didn't want to sell my soul as a teenager. So I wanted full creation of my art and to do what I wanted to do. So I think that that's the issue with the industry now is that there's which is not really an issue. I guess everybody, for me it is, but for everybody else now you have a choice of what you want to do in this game and how you want to do it. So maybe you're a person that wants to push the radio. And if you're a person that wants to go that route, you're not going to have as much freedom as somebody who's independent that can create whatever they want. Now, me being independent and creating whatever I want may lead me to a journey that may not be the same as a person who's into more popular music. But that, that's the difference between me and them as well, is that, that's not what I'm in it for. So it's just really, to answer your question, it's just really about what you're in it for. You know what I'm saying? And, when it'll show through your music. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, for the sake of time, I gotta jump over the Wolves album and go to the Curse of a Genius album because I really want to touch on that because that's the new album that's out right now.
Fact.
But there's songs that you have that I really want to touch on. Shout out to you for working with my man Skrilla Gambino. Shout out to Skrilla. I'm still waiting to get him on Heritage Hip Hop. So when you share this with him, let him know I'm waiting for you to return. You've only been on here
Oh,
once, and I haven't talked to you by yourself yet.
oh, yeah,
Yep.
we'll make that happen.
Yeah,
Shout
that's
out
my
to
guy
Will.
right there. That's my guy. Shout out to Chose, his clothing line too.
Yes, sir.
And y'all had that in the Hub Bruh video.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
all in it.
So salute to Skrilla because he making moves. But the thing about the Curse of a Genius album is you took your time to rhyme on your beats, not just ride your beats. Why were
Right.
you so selective in your flow and your delivery of this part of the your development with this album?
Uh, yeah, this one, because this one was about, showcasing me as an artist, Chuck Platinum. Like I just want, even though I did produce on the album and everything, but I wanted to showcase my bar work. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to showcase a different side. Like sonically, this project is different than the other ones because of that. You know what I mean? So I wanted to showcase like different textures and that and get out of that hip hop evangelist. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want them to be. That's why, like you said, with Let the Wolves Play. Just to mention that album a little, it was a transition. You know what I mean? And I wanted to get out of that. Like I didn't want that album or Curse of a Genius to sound nothing like that. So I strive for that. You know what I mean? So that was the result of what you hearing there. You know what I mean? It's just me, just wanting to be Chuck Platinum, the artist, and being signed recently where I could just be an artist without having to do everything for once. You know what I mean? So that Curse of Virginia is a result of that.
But the cover art is very interesting. For Hip Hop Evangelist, it's a black and white picture of you sitting in front of a cathedral doors. So if you look at it, that's just very black and white, which means truth. Bare bones.
Right.
It is what it is. Let the Wolves Play. We have 3 wolves, which is like a Trinity aspect, but it's in snow. So that's cold. And New York is known for the cold weather. Once again, bare truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then with Curse of Virginia, you have a skull with his mouth open. And when people get surprised, they go, oh, like they're shocked. With a lightning, like with a light bulb on his head, but fire in his eyes. Once again, that's bare truth. What is it about truth, and why do you want to highlight that in every aspect of not only your music but your visual art as well?
Because that's me as a person. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the respect comes from. Is giving people the truth and not utilizing your platform and your voice for commercials. You know what I'm saying? So every album is some type of truth of mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. To be very honest, I don't know how to. Not to say I don't know, but maybe I could write some gimmick records. But like, these projects be me being on my Scorsese and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, me creating truth through the sound. You know what I mean? And being able to give something that people could go back years later and listen to them, and they can still be relatable. And I think that's what make all great albums. You know what I'm saying? Is the truth in it. Most albums that you listen to that you love had a lot of truth in their in the music and in the visuals and stuff like that, because that's really to be very honest, in a hip hop climate, truth sells too. You know what I mean? Everybody is relatable, and that's what I do, is put the music on a hot beat and I rap the truth. And the beat is going to get you in, and then the truth, you'll hear the verses through the beats.
I'm a little confused by one thing. How do you fulfill the DJ side of you and the MC side of you at the same time? Because sometimes you have to be one and not the other, or you know what I'm saying? But how do you find that balance to be perfect within yourself?
The love of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Just the love of the culture. Everything that I do, like, after I learned how to produce, everything else was just about a learning experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just about, growing and learning. So it's not, to me, like, I do it so effortlessly that it's not even like I'm changing into one case and then putting on the superhero hat and then I'm taking on, and then I'm Bruce Wayne. Nah, it's just me just doing what I love. You know what I'm saying? And the passion just comes from the love of the game. So, I'm just a student. That's all. You know what I mean? I'm a student all the way around, and it just led me to a path of me doing everything.
Salute to you for that. Unfortunately, we've reached the time. We have to pack up and go. Please give everybody your social media and how to get your music.
Absolutely. You could definitely Google me, Chuck Platinum. That'll take you to all the music, all the social media. But if you want to holler at me, at Chuck Platinum, you know what I'm saying? At Chuck Platinum, you can hit me on all social media. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to BHCG at BH_Cancun_. You know what I mean? And the Harbor video coming out. Probably be out by the time you hear this. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, salute. You can find me there everywhere at Chuck Platinum.
And the album is
Curse of Virginia, everywhere in stores, man. And that vinyl and all that coming soon. You heard it here first, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna definitely package something up for y'all hip hop enthusiasts, probably give y'all some tape. I ain't gonna give it away too much, but we got something, big planned for the summertime. But yeah, Curse of Virginia is in stores everywhere. Go get that. I Love You Truly, featuring I Love You Truly, that Way Up, that's the next single. So make sure you go get that.
And I'm proud of you. Let me tell you why. Because you did not say go to Spotify and iTunes. Heritage hip hop is not about streaming. We do not believe in streaming. We say stream it to find out if you like it, but if you like it or you love it, buy it. Because by
Yeah,
buying the music, you are saving the culture and showing the artists that you appreciate them. Because if you don't buy your music, you're renting the music. And let's just say so happened Godzilla or some shit happened and the internet was destroyed. You don't have that music. So buy your music, keep your music, and some of y'all be buying stuff y'all really don't need. Y'all really don't be thirsty. Just be getting bottles of water, doing nothing, or getting scratch offs, and you don't need to because you know nobody wins out that store. Take $1 to get a single. Take the money to get an album, man. Just do what you got to do to support. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling the truth, bro.
right.
Yeah, I mean, how you like the interview so far? How we do tonight?
I love it, man. I love it. I'm enjoying myself in this. Believe me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I want to ask you a couple questions called the rapid fire questions. These are not yes no questions. These are questions to show your depth of the hip hop culture, yourself, and how and you. You know what I'm saying? My
Absolutely.
my first question. Some people say is the hardest question. It's not going to be hard for you because you're a genius. The curse of the genius is knowing who you are and who you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what song or album from another artist perfectly describes you?
I can't pay the full.
See how easy that was? And some people just can't do it. I don't know why. As a DJ, what 5 albums define music to you? Only 5.
All right. All right. Ooh, now that's a question right there. Um, defining hip hop.
No,
I
music.
say
Music.
music as a whole.
Yeah.
I would say, um, Biggie, Life After Death.
Okay.
Uh, whew, 5 albums. Biggie, Life After Death. Um, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt.
Okay.
Uh, Outkast, Southern Playlist, the Cadillac Music.
Mm.
Yeah, I gotta throw that one in there because they was like defining, changing, life changing. Um, hmm, 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I say, um, Tupac, Tupac, Me Against the World.
Okay. That's 4. One
That
more.
was, and let's see, hmm, last one. Damn, there's so many. Uh, let me think. And I say like I'm gonna throw a haymaker in here. Drake, Thank Me Later.
Okay. Okay. Hey, if that's how you define music, you like fast-paced music, slow-paced music, you like gutter music, you like love music, but basically you're telling me you like music that hits your soul and spirit, not just music to listen to.
That's the fact. Things that you can the emotions draw to and what you can relate to. And those albums, definitely relate part of my, all aspects of my life and at some point.
You ready to cause some controversy?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Is Bronx the best hip hop?
Yes.
Okay, I beg to differ. And this is why. Only one, I'm gonna tell you one thing that Brooklyn has over the Bronx. Brooklyn took 3 random Brooklyn artists, came together and made a song to represent the borough that made hits. Crooklyn Dodgers 1, 2. Sometimes people talk about 3, but I'm gonna say the first 2. The
Mm-hmm.
Bronx has never done it. New Jersey has never done it. Manhattan has never done it. Whoever, Harlem, nobody's ever done it, but Brooklyn did that one thing. If you could make your Crooklyn Dodgers version of the Bronx, who would your 3 Bronx MCs be and who would produce the album or the song?
I would say myself. I
Okay.
gotta put me. Um, I would say Fat Joe because he's definitely a representation of the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
And if my man, if they gotta be alive or
Yes.
can we? They gotta be alive. Okay. Myself, Fat Joe, and right now, From the Bronx. Whew. Um, mm, mm. I would say, damn, who's alive now that would be a good representation of that, like a Brooklyn Dodgers. That
Exactly.
yeah, that's kind of yeah, that's relative right now.
Why not? Mm-hmm.
Mm, damn, who's from the Bronx that's nice like that? That I would, because Brooklyn Dodgers is even when you think about the part two and all of that, like that return of the Brooklyn Dodgers, even having Chubb Rock on the record. So I would say like from the Bronx, um, you know what? I would throw an OG in there, like a Grandmaster Caz. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
that worked.
Yeah, I throw an OG in there, like get Grandmaster Caz, and then I would get like I would get somebody like Showbiz, somebody to produce the record, keep it all the way Bronx.
Okay, hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We got two more questions and then we're gonna peel up out of here. That was very interesting, but you see where I'm coming from. I miss the
Yeah,
regionality of hip hop because hip hop
right.
doesn't have regions anymore. The internet kind
That's
of
right.
made it muddled, and
Right.
we lose a lot of the identity. So having like an all Bronx hit, like Crooklyn Dodgers went around the world. Like they imagine the
Right.
Bronx going back around the world with a
Right.
song. That would be
Right.
interesting. So hold on a second. Sorry about that. It's all going to get edited out anyway.
No worries.
All right. So I had two more questions for you. The last one is the most important question, so we're not going to go there yet. Um, I want to ask you a DJ question to set up the last question. Usually, when I ask artists, um, who would you want to do your dream song with and things like that, I'm gonna ask it to you in terms of a DJ. What would be your dream set, and who would perform as the MC for your DJ set?
Jay-Z.
Why?
Um, because personally, like I've been to concerts of his, and the DJs be lit. Like when he had Timberland and he had all of them DJ. I went to like 3 concerts and the DJ was lit and he gave the DJ like a whole pre-show. So doing that at a whole concert to be able to show my skills and get like an hour on a set before a dope ass whole concert would be that would be fire. Plus the bread would be crazy. Shout out to Ho.
Can't forget the bread, yo.
Right.
Can't make a meal without bread. There you go. All right, I ain't mad at you. All right, well, thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you. I appreciate the fact that you trusted me enough to be able to have a platform that you could tell your story on. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank
Heritage
you.
hip hop. Oh, no doubt. Heritage hip hop is not bougie. We're not like you got to be a top 100. As long as you got something worth talking about, a new project that sparks interest, or even a story about hip hop, you are always welcome to come back on the platform. So whenever you drop something new, please consider us. We have an open door policy.
I love it.
All right. And the last question of the interview is this: 500 years from now, when we go to the Bronx, to the Hip Hop Hall of Fame Museum that they're building, salute to everybody behind that project.
Yes, sir.
They're gonna have a Chuck Platinum showcase, and a little boy and a little girl is gonna ask the person who's Chuck Platinum, and they're gonna push a red button on the wall, and your hologram is gonna come out, and they're gonna play some of your music and tell your story. My final and most important question of the first interview, which means you can always come back, is what is the legacy you left behind that made the world a better place because you made hip hop music?
That's a beautiful question. Um, just truth, honesty, dope music, um, just the whole love of the culture as a whole, and just my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like they press that button, they're gonna see my heart, they're gonna see my soul. Just somebody who really cared about the culture and cared about 500 years later, to give them a stamp that something that we could remember. So when they look at the shrine, it's gonna be a shrine. It's gonna just be the glass window. It's gonna have a whole shrine. But that's what they will be looking at. They will be looking at my whole soul and know that, I tried to press some kind of buttons in this game to keep it forward and push it forward and, keep the culture moving.
And with that being said, everybody, to be a part of the culture means to be alive, because culture is a living element. Hip hop is more than music. Heritage hip hop believes hip hop is more than music. Hip hop is God within us. So if your expression is writing, dancing, rapping, spinning records, teaching, politics, religion, or anything that has to do with children or protecting our culture for the elderly to be able to preserve their story and then pass those stories on to the next generation, you are hip hop, and we celebrate you on this platform. For Chuck Platinum and everybody out there watching from the Bronx to New Jersey to around the whole world, this is Karev of Heritage Hip Hop saying peace, and we out. Thank you for watching our presentation. We ask that you subscribe to our YouTube family and hit the notification bell for updates. Please like, comment, and share this video.
Real hip hop. Real